Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you've been there before, even though you swear it's your first time? That strange flicker of familiarity isn't just your brain playing tricks on you. It might be a glitch, a sign, a crack in the illusion of time itself. What if I told you that déjà vu isn't a mistake, but a message, and that you're not just living your life, you're repeating it? The mind is not bound by time. It's bound by belief. You've been taught to see time as a straight line, past, present, future. That's the illusion. The real prison is the belief that you are moving forward when, in truth, you're circling the same patterns with a new disguise each time. Déjà vu doesn't happen because your brain is misfiring. It happens because your spirit remembers what your mind tries to forget. That moment you feel like you've been somewhere before, it's because you have. Maybe not with the same clothes or in the same decade, but in the same energetic state. You see, the universe doesn't care what year it is. It only responds to who you are and how you think. Your thoughts build the pattern. They shape your choices. Your choices build your reality. If you keep thinking the same way, feeling the same emotions, fearing the same things, and wanting the same comfort, you are looping. You are not evolving. You are orbiting. You wake up, check your phone, go to work, complain, wish for more, and repeat over and over. And when your soul screams for change, the mind silences it with logic and doubt. That's why the déjà vu hits. It's a signal, a glitch. The simulation flashes its code for a brief second and shows you you've been here before. Not because of fate, but because of habit. You weren't meant to survive the day. You were meant to break it. But belief is what locks you into the loop. If you believe you're unlucky, you will attract chaos. If you believe you're not enough, you will chase validation. If you believe your past defines you, you will replay your failures on every stage life gives you. Belief is the script. The world simply follows direction. So the question isn't whether déjà vu is real. The question is, why are you seeing it again? What thought did you not change? What lesson did you avoid? What risk did you refuse to take the last time this happened? Your brain remembers patterns, but your being remembers paths. And when it whispers through déjà vu, it's not trying to scare you. It's trying to wake you up. It's trying to say, stop walking in circles. There is another way. But most people don't listen. They shrug it off, laugh at the moment, and go back to sleepwalking through life. They don't realize that déjà vu is proof they are in a cycle. And until the belief changes, the outcome can't. You think you're stuck because of your situation, your environment, your past. You're not. You're stuck because of your belief about all of it. And that belief is invisible, like gravity. You don't see it, but it pulls you into the same behavior again and again. You want something new, you must believe something new. Your mind isn't trapped by time. It's trapped by the story you keep telling yourself. You've told it for so long, it's no longer a story. It's become your identity. And now you wear it, live it, and replay it, like an echo in a closed room. The walls never change, because the sound never does. What if I told you the reason your life feels stuck isn't because of bad luck, other people, or the world around you, but because you've already lived this moment before? That feeling you can't explain, that odd moment, when reality flickers and feels too familiar, that's not coincidence. That's not imagination. That's a glitch. And it's happening because the universe is looping you until you finally wake up. You repeat because you haven't learned the lesson. Life is not punishing you. It's teaching you. But the teacher will never move on until the student is ready. Think of it like a broken record. The same track, the same skip, the same beat. The song doesn't change unless you lift the needle. And most people never do. They live the same problems with different faces, same arguments, different relationships, same fears, different opportunities. The names change, the jobs change, the years change, but they don't change. So life loops them back into the same test, again and again. Déjà vu is not a random event. It's a checkpoint, a signal that you've reached the same fork in the road that you ignored the last time. You keep wondering why you attract the same type of people, why the same obstacles show up, why you feel like you're going in circles. It's not bad luck. It's incomplete evolution. The lesson wasn't learned, so the loop continues. Not to punish you, but to give you another chance to get it right. Another chance to choose differently. But most people miss it. They react the same way they did before. They let fear answer the door. They let doubt take the wheel. And they keep wondering why the destination never changes. Every loop is a disguised opportunity to choose differently. That's the secret buried in the glitch. You are not stuck because of your circumstances. You're stuck because of your decisions within those circumstances. The same fear that stopped you before, it's back. The same insecurity, it's back. But this time you know it's coming. You've seen this room before. You've felt this moment before. So what will you do now? You can respond with the same reaction, or you can evolve through action. The power lies in your choice. The loop ends the moment you do something you've never done before in that situation. Maybe it's speaking when you used to stay silent. Maybe it's walking away when you used to beg to stay. Maybe it's trusting yourself instead of outsourcing your worth to the world. Whatever it is, that's the key to breaking the loop. Because the moment you act outside the pattern, you disrupt the cycle. You create a new path. You escape the replay. Have you ever stopped mid-conversation and felt like you've said those exact words before, in that exact place, with that exact feeling? Like reality paused for a second and played back something from your memory, except you swear it never happened. That's not your imagination. That's not just déjà vu. That's a sign you're in a loop. And it's happening because you haven't learned what life is trying to teach you. You repeat because you haven't learned the lesson. Life doesn't speak in words. It speaks in patterns. And when you don't listen, it doesn't stop you. It simply resets the scene. The faces change, the scenery evolves. But the core challenge remains. You keep meeting the same type of person who betrays you. You keep finding yourself in situations where you're undervalued. You keep watching opportunities slip by because of hesitation. It's not bad luck. It's not a curse. It's repetition. And repetition is the universe's way of saying, you missed something. You're not being punished. You're being trained. Life isn't cruel. It's precise. It will keep putting you through the same experience until your response changes, not because it enjoys your suffering, but because it respects your potential. The world around you is responding to the frequency within you. If you feel powerless, you will attract control. If you feel unworthy, you will attract disrespect. If you feel broken, you will attract situations that keep you fragmented. And as long as your inner world stays the same, your outer world will mirror it again and again. Déjà vu isn't just a weird moment. It's a marker, a checkpoint. It's life saying you're back here again. What will you do this time? And if you respond the same way you always have, silence instead of speaking, fear instead of action, running instead of staying, you just hit repeat again, and the loop continues. But if you catch it, if you feel that strange sense of familiarity and pause, you can choose. You can ask yourself, why does this feel the same? What did I avoid the last time I was here? What emotion? What truth? What decision did I delay? That awareness is the crack in the wall. That's the moment you get the chance to change the entire timeline. Every loop is a disguised opportunity to choose differently. That's why it's happening. That's why déjà vu feels so intense. It's not showing you what you've lived. It's showing you what you've relived. And it's inviting you to finally respond like someone who's grown. Every situation in your life is not about what's happening to you. It's about how you react to what's happening. If your reaction is automatic, unconscious, rooted in fear or ego, you stay stuck. You give away your power to the pattern. But when your reaction becomes conscious, intentional, and courageous, the pattern shatters. That's the secret. You don't need to control the world. You need to control your choices. You don't need more time. You need more awareness. The same problem you keep running from is actually the bridge to your next level. But that bridge won't appear until you pass the test. And the test isn't written in words. It's written in your habits, your beliefs, your decisions in the moment you feel stuck. Most people never even realize they're in a loop. They blame others, circumstances, fate. But loops don't exist outside of you. They exist within, in how you handle challenge, in how you face fear, in how you refuse to settle for repeating the same pain with a new name. You ever wonder why you're still stuck in the same cycle, even though you've changed your job, your city, your friends, maybe even your entire lifestyle? You made every possible move, yet deep inside, something still feels the same. That unease, that heaviness, that repetition, it doesn't go away. The reason isn't outside you, it's inside. There's a loop running in your life, and the more you try to escape it, without facing the root cause, the tighter it pulls you back. And here's the real truth. That loop survives because of one thing you keep feeding it: fear. Fear is the fuel of the loop. Courage is the exit. The loop doesn't need a lot to survive. It only needs your hesitation. It only needs that one split second where you doubt yourself. It only needs that tiny moment where you choose comfort over courage. That's it. That's how the loop stays alive. You think fear is protecting you, but all it's really doing is placing you on repeat. You fear rejection, so you stay quiet. You fear failure, so you don't start. You fear change, so you cling to the familiar. But the familiar is the cage, and fear is the lock. Most people think fear feels like panic, anxiety, or terror. But fear also feels like logic. It feels like maybe later, like I'm not ready, like what if it doesn't work. It wears the mask of rationality, but its job is to keep you exactly where you are. As long as you respond to fear, you never escape. And life, being the brilliant mirror it is, keeps reflecting the same challenge until you respond with something stronger. And that something is courage, not the absence of fear, but the decision to move despite it. The loop doesn't demand perfection. It demands a different choice, a bolder move, a break from the old you. The moment you stop choosing safety and start choosing growth, the glitch shatters. That déjà vu, that eerie sense of I've been here before, it disappears, not because the moment stops happening, but because you finally responded with courage instead of fear. That's what changes your reality. That's what ends the repetition. But the loop is clever. It doesn't come back wearing the same clothes. It changes its disguise. It looks like a new relationship, a new opportunity, a fresh start. But if you haven't dealt with the fear that created the last downfall, it's not a new beginning. It's the same test, just dressed better. And here's what most people miss. Comfort is the bait. Have you ever sat alone and wondered, why do I always end up in the same emotional space no matter what I change on the outside? Different city, same emptiness, new friends, same loneliness, another opportunity, same self-doubt. It's almost as if something invisible is pulling the strings of your life without your permission. The people around you change. The timeline moves forward. But internally, you feel like you've never left the same spot. That's not fate. That's not coincidence. That's programming. You're not confused. You're programmed. Somewhere along the way, you started running a script in your mind, a loop of thoughts, beliefs, and emotional habits you didn't even choose. They were given to you. From your parents, from your school, from society, from the trauma you never addressed. You were told who you are, what's possible for you, what you should fear, what you should avoid, what you must never reach for. And without realizing it, you accepted all of it. You didn't question the script. You memorized it. And now it runs automatically, in the background of every decision, every relationship, every moment of doubt. The real chains are not made of metal. They're made of thoughts you think are your own, but they're not. They were planted in you and repeated until they became your voice. And now they whisper to you in every critical moment. You can't. You're not ready. You're not enough. And you obey, thinking it's intuition, but it's not. It's conditioning. And as long as that programming runs your life, you will keep replaying the same emotions, the same failures, the same inner emptiness, no matter how much you try to evolve externally. This is where most people get stuck. They try to change the world outside, thinking it will fix the world inside. So they chase achievements, looks, money, validation, relationships. But nothing sticks, because the code hasn't changed. They're trying to run new results on old software. And that's why deja vu keeps showing up. That eerie feeling isn't just a glitch in the system. It's the system showing its face. It's the code repeating, looping, circling back to the same mental state you never rewrote. When desire weakens, cycles strengthen. Your hunger to break the pattern has to be stronger than your addiction to it. The loop survives when you stop asking questions, when you stop demanding more, when you stop moving forward in your mind, even though your feet are still running. And that's the moment it tightens around you. You start accepting things you once said you'd never tolerate. You start tolerating mediocrity and calling it normal. You shrink your dreams and call it realistic. That's not maturity. That's mental surrender. And every time you do that, the loop strengthens its grip on your life. Desire isn't just wishful thinking. It's the fire that melts the loop. It's the engine that drives change. When you want something so deeply, so clearly, so urgently, your mind starts rewriting itself to align with that goal. But when you let that desire fade, the default program takes over again. And default is always based on fear, not freedom. You end up living reactively, not intentionally. The loop doesn't need you to fail dramatically. It just needs you to stop caring. That quiet surrender is all it takes for the pattern to lock itself in place again. The scary part is how subtle it is. You don't even realize it's happening. You just wake up one day and your dreams feel further away. You stop expecting more from yourself. You stop having those deep inner conversations. You stop challenging your beliefs. And without knowing it, you've handed the steering wheel back to the very system you swore you'd escape. You ever notice how some moments feel like a glitch in time? Like your mind pauses, and everything around you feels too precise, too familiar, too rehearsed. It's not just a coincidence. It's not just a brain trick. It's a transmission from the deeper part of your consciousness, the part that remembers the loops you keep denying. It's not the first time you've been here. That moment, that emotion, that hesitation, it's happened before. Maybe not in this exact form, but in energy, in rhythm, in intention. The glitch is your call to consciousness, not coincidence. Most people miss the signal. They brush it off, laugh it away, and return to autopilot. But those few seconds of deja vu, they are sacred. It's the system revealing itself to you, a quick flash of truth in a world that's mastered the art of distraction. In that instant, reality becomes transparent. You get to see the code, the pattern, the loop you've been trapped inside. But you must be awake enough to catch it. If you're moving through life with your head buried in routine, in reaction, in comfort, you'll never notice when the glitch appears. But when it does, when your soul nudges you and says, "Pay attention," that is the moment to pause, to question, to look deeper than the surface. Because the glitch is not a mistake. It's a whisper from the part of you that's tired of sleepwalking through the same story. It's the signal that you're being presented with a moment you didn't resolve the last time. The opportunity is back. The scene has reset. You're being offered the rarest of gifts, a conscious choice, one that can shift the entire trajectory of your path. But it only activates if you're willing to see the glitch for what it is, a doorway, not a dead end. The problem is that familiarity is a trap when it's rooted in stagnation. You get so used to your patterns, your habits, your roles, that you forget you're even in a loop. You confuse predictability with peace. You think because something feels safe, it must be right. But comfort doesn't always mean alignment. Sometimes it means sedation, a slow dulling of your ambition, your instincts, your soul's true compass. And that's when the loop tightens its grip. When life becomes a script you didn't write, but one you perform so well that even you believe it's yours. The most dangerous place to be is not rock bottom. It's in the middle, where things are okay, where nothing hurts bad enough to force change, but nothing excites you enough to rise. That's where loops thrive. They feed on numbness, on routine dressed up as purpose, on comfort that kills slowly. And the worst part is most people don't even realize they're trapped, because the cage is padded, it's decorated, it's got just enough pleasure to distract from the fact that it's still a prison. You ever wonder why your life looks different but feels exactly the same? Why every year brings new experiences, yet deep inside, nothing actually shifts. You switch your goals, switch your plans, change your habits for a few weeks, but somehow you end up back in the same emotional space, as if the past is quietly dragging you by the ankle. You're not lazy. You're not lost. You're stuck in a ritual, a hidden one. Your routine is your ritual. Change the ritual. Change the reality. People underestimate the power of the ordinary. The way you wake up, the first thoughts that run through your head, the way you walk into a room, the words you speak when no one's listening, all of it forms a ritual. Not a ceremonial one, but a subconscious rhythm that instructs your mind how to behave. Every morning you check your phone, compare yourself, rush into stress, postpone your purpose. You are practicing a ritual, and over time that ritual becomes a system. A personal operating system that decides the limits of your day, the ceiling of your growth, the speed of your progress. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you ritualize. You can want success, freedom, clarity, but if your daily rituals are based on fear, distraction, and reaction, the loop continues, and you won't even realize it, because you'll be too busy trying to fix the symptoms without addressing the system. Most people think their life will change because they want it to, but life doesn't respond to emotion. It responds to energy, and energy is created by repetition. If your repeated actions scream survival, the universe won't deliver abundance. It delivers alignment. It mirrors what you're committed to, not what you occasionally wish for. But here's the truth. Cycles are chains, and decisions are hammers. The way you break a loop is by making a decision that disrupts your pattern, not a loud, dramatic, public declaration. A private, powerful, internal shift. A decision that says, I'm no longer available for this version of myself. One decision, when done with complete emotional alignment, can shatter years of repetition, because every cycle you're stuck in is being held together by one thing: your willingness to stay in it. The chain only exists because you haven't picked up the hammer yet. A lot of people wait for the perfect moment to act, for the timing to be right, for the fear to go away. But what they don't realize is fear is the chain, waiting is the loop. The right time is the excuse, because decisions made in the middle of uncertainty are the ones that hold real power. When you interrupt the old pattern without having a new plan, that's where transformation begins, because in that moment you're no longer running on default. You're no longer submitting to the script. You've chosen to break rhythm. That's how chains are broken. One thought at a time, one decision at a time, one new action that feels completely unnatural, but spiritually necessary. It's not supposed to feel easy. It's not supposed to feel familiar. That's how you know you're doing it right. If it feels uncomfortable, you're not just changing your life. You're deleting the code that held your old one in place. The glitch shows up when the system detects change. It warns you with fear, with doubt, with déjà vu. But that's not a warning to stop. It's confirmation that you're pressing against the edge of your current programming. Most people turn back at that moment. They feel the discomfort and retreat into the loop. But if you can stay in that discomfort long enough to take a new action, you've already started breaking the chain. And once a chain breaks, the loop weakens. The illusion starts to fade. The repetition loses its grip. Because loops don't survive off time. They survive off your agreement to keep playing small dot. Have you ever asked yourself why certain problems in your life never seem to go away, no matter how much time passes? Why the same kind of heartbreak, the same stress, the same inner conflict keeps returning in different forms? It's not because the world is against you. It's not because you're cursed. It's because somewhere along the way, you silently agreed to allow it. What you tolerate becomes permanent. The loop doesn't need your approval to exist. It only needs your tolerance. Most people don't even realize they've made peace with the very things they once swore they'd change. That toxic job, that draining relationship, that quiet voice in your head that whispers, "This is just how life is." You didn't consciously choose it, but you didn't fight it either. You didn't set a boundary. You didn't say no. You didn't demand better. So the loop took that silence as permission. It built itself into your routine, disguised itself as normal, and made itself at home in your life. Tolerating isn't just about what you put up with. It's about what you stop resisting. The moment you say, "It's fine, I'll deal with it," is the moment the cycle gets stronger, and it never shows its full cost immediately. It starts small, a little irritation, a little compromise, a little delay in your dreams. But over time, the weight grows, and by the time you realize what it's taken from you, you're already deep in the pattern. The loop has woven itself into your identity. You no longer even see it as something separate. It becomes who you are. The loop counts on your silence, on your ability to adapt, on your ability to normalize dysfunction. And that's how it becomes permanent. Not through force, but through quiet compliance. The version of you that's stuck is not weak. It's just overly patient, too understanding, too forgiving of what hurts you. And that kindness, when pointed in the wrong direction, becomes self-sabotage. You tell yourself you're being mature, that you're giving things time, that you're waiting for the right moment. But all the loop sees is submission. All it hears is, "I'll stay." But there comes a moment, a shift, when you realize that waiting is no longer patience. It's a prison. That moment when you feel the weight of everything you've allowed, and ask yourself, "If I don't break this now, how many more years will I keep repeating this version of life?" And that question leads to the most powerful truth of all. You don't need more time. You need a new decision.